I arrived in Vienna in the middle of a heat wave, so obviously I decided to go get some gelato before heading around the city nearby where I was staying. The next morning I headed to get a coffee and journal for a little bit before trying the famous SACHER TORTE. There's actually two different places that have had lawsuits and a massive argument over who owns the original recipe, which I think is a bit over the top because, to be honest, I really thought the cake was nice but nothing that amazing. I then decided to explore the city by foot, as I find that just walking around to random places I want to visit and visiting some of the touristy spots along the way tends to reveal a lot about the city to me that I feel like you miss if you just take transport places. I visited the Danube, which was not very blue to say the least, and picked up some goodies from Vienna, a famous shop in the city, before trying the famous schnitzel at figlmuller. This schnitzel was huge and I sat there eating it for ages, wondering why it wasn't getting any smaller. Eventually I did finish it though. I then walked through the naschmarkt, which is famous for its variety of different goodies and restaurants, and I then had a little picnic on the balcony at my hostel. I then braved the heatwave and headed over to the Belvedere museum. This place had beautiful, extensive gardens and an indescribably beautiful interior. Other than the building and grounds being incredible, there were also so many beautiful artistic works, including The Kiss by Klimt. The next morning I went to the famous Neni restaurant and got some pancakes. They were really different to anything I've ever had before, but they also just had this incredible balance of flavours and tastes which was really unique. It was amazing and I definitely recommend going. I then walked all the way across town through various parks, admiring my surroundings on the way as I headed towards the Sigmund Freud Museum. There isn't a lot left here as obviously he had to flee to London, so it involved a lot of reading, but it was very interesting to learn about him and understand the habitations and patterns of his life. To be able to stand in his study where he wrote his letters and sit in his interview room where he interviewed his patients was kind of crazy because the events that occurred in these two co-joined rooms have had a massive impact on society. through the centre of the city and stopped at KAISERSCHMARREN for their famous KAISERSCHMARREN. I can't say the word, and they were pretty solid but quite pricey. My last morning in the city, I got a coffee and did some editing at a local coffee shop, but was mainly dying in the heat because the temperatures had just continually kept on increasing. I then headed through to Budapest, which I'll be exploring in next week's video, so I hope you'll tune in for that one. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next week.